channel. My name is Steph, and this is a regular podcast episode. I will be talking about some finished objects, things that I'm working on, how my stitch quest is going, things that have popped up in my life, and I thought I would do a book haul, but from the library. So let's just jump right on into it. I'm not going to show you every single thing that I have on the needle because it's quite a lot and I haven't put much work into some of them. And I currently am surrounded by my projects. So I'm just going to grab one. Inside of my Hohi & Co. Pampa bag, this is a second, so there was some damage, and I think it's, where is it? I felt like it was pretty hard to see what's on the inside. Yeah, there's some damage on the bottom that you can see on the inside, but honestly, it's fine. I really like this. I think it's cute. The only issue that I have with it is the size. I feel like it's too big for socks, but too small for any other project for it to be like this open bucket tote. So I have socks in here. And they look like this. So I have, I've got the cuff going on one of them, and I'm just gonna go until I match, and that should have me using up all of this mini skein. Of course, both of the cats are gonna make a ton of noise right now. I coupled these yarns together because it reminded me of Bridgerton. And so my goal is to knit this for my friend who I watch Bridgerton with. And I'm unsure if I'm going to do like leggings or if it'll just be tall socks. I'm not sure yet. But she likes to dance. And so I just thought if I would do like leggings, that would be cute, and Bridgerton inspired would just be special for our friendship. She does not live nearby, so we have watched all 4 seasons of Bridgerton. When it comes out, we watch an episode a week at the same time, and we talk while we watch, and it's just really enjoyable. So I think I've mentioned it before. If you have long distance friends, it's something I really would recommend. You don't have to get on a call. You can just, be chatting or texting, and it's obviously it's not the same as having that person in the same room with you, but it's really nice. And it kind of takes you back to when you had to wait for an episode to release. So those are these socks. I don't remember what the sock pattern is, but it is from a 52 weeks of sock knitting, one of the books, and I'll have the pattern on the screen. The yarn I'm using, the cuff is a single ply. It is leftovers from the Advent shawl that I made, like I guess the moon cloud shawl, one that I made longer to use up more yarn. And the mini is, it's either Knit Picks or Happy Fuzzy Socks or Happy Fuzzy Feet, something like that. I want to say it's Knit Picks though. I think it's Knit Picks in a stroll colorway. Have not really put a lot of effort into these. The pattern on the leg is easy, but you have to count, and then I have to look up, there's like a special section where there's a little bit of like eyelets you can kind of see, yarn overs, and intuitively I wasn't doing them correctly, so I had to like undo them all, look up again how to do them. So and I have some Crinkles stitch markers on here. I wish Crinkles used a thinner jump ring. These jump rings are too big, in my opinion. They're too big. They cause me to have a jog when I use them. But they are very cute. Then in my, I think this is a fat squirrel bag. Yeah, fat squirrel bag. It's so cute. I have my September sweater. This is using yarn from Flock last year. And it is Nano Stitch Lab in the Scientific Sock Geology Rules. Very pretty. Coupled with Achromic Alpaca Sport in the charcoal. It's 100% alpaca. And it makes this fabric. Isn't it? Doesn't it look so good? So you're looking at the back. And there's the front. So at some point, the last time I showed this to you, I was up here. So I've done all of this. This is a stitch marker I made myself. I found these at either Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and it's a little secret garden book. No words in it, but real pages, very cute. And I have picked up and started the sleeve. The September sweater is a pattern by the Petite knit. It is an all over brioche sweater. And the body was quite enjoyable to work on because it was mindless. And then the sleeve is not mindless. The sleeve has decreases. So I kind of put this on pause because I want to finish a shawl. But very much loving this. I think this is going to be really nice in my wardrobe. So soft, warm, and just interesting. It no longer fits in my fat squirrel bag, so I really should move it to something else because I can't close it and my cats like to get in my yarn. Speaking of the project that I want to finish, inside my Vita Loca bag, which I got at Cupcake Sprinkles. It's what is it? It's one of the satellite indie festivals that is before Rhinebeck or New York Sheep and Wool. But I purchased this a couple years ago. And this is a bag that is in collaboration with Paradise Island and Vita Loca. I think it's called Vita Loca. I could have that wrong now. And I have made quite a lot of progress on this. And the only reason I've stopped working on this is because of the World Cup. And we'll get to that in a moment. So this is my Brioche Adventures. And it is beautiful. Just so beautiful. So you kind of, I guess, is this called knitting on the bias? And it makes a fade. So I have blues and pinks left to go. The way that I have made this so that I don't mess up my color order is I have attached, this is not a good example because this is a mess, but I have attached light bulb stitch markers and I've attached it to each color, and so it's in a numerical order, so all I have to do is count what is the lowest amount of light bulb stitch markers currently on one of the balls, and other than the ones that have 0. So that's how that works. And this is I feel like I'm not remembering anything today. I see the logo. Where's my water bottle? I have a sticker on my water bottle for this. Teal Torch Knits. This is my Teal Torch Knits advent calendar from a couple years ago. And I'm gonna have it done before this year. I didn't buy an advent calendar last year or the year before. I'm unsure if I'm gonna buy one this year. I have been really good about not purchasing a lot of yarn this year and honestly last year. So I think I'm just like reckoning with the amount of yarn that I have, and I've been really enjoying knitting from stash because I have so much good yarn that I want to turn into something. So I've been feeling very content with that. I will be getting back to this once the World Cup is over and heavily working on this or focusing. I have finished a couple objects. So I have my popple shawl, and this is like a little mini kerchief. She's very cute. Right? So cute. I have enough yarn to make a second one. And I did have a little oopsie when I was blocking this. And I wasn't even blocking it aggressively, but I took this end and, made it straight. And then I took this end and did the same thing. And I heard snap, snap. So I broke the yarn on the edge. So far, it hasn't come undone, but I think I'm playing with fire. So what I need to do and what my game plan is to I think I'm gonna take the fluff yarn, the coral, and crochet or sew along the edge to just tack this down and call it a day. So if you knit this pattern and are using the called for yarn, just be a little careful because mine broke really easily. So it's just really cute. Very cute. Very cute. I worked on this while I was in Germany, and I think it's very adorable. My mom really liked it too. I think I have enough to make another one. I'm not entirely sure. I, for the life of me, cannot find my scale to the point where I think I need to buy a new scale. Like, I don't know where it is. It's not in any of its normal spots, which is so weird. So I need to buy a new scale so that I can see if I have enough yarn to make the popple shawl a second time. Very beautiful. Would recommend. This worked up very quickly. Once you have the pattern memorized, it is a breeze, and it is a small little scarf, so it doesn't take very long. And if you use the called for color or called for yarn, which is from, it's that store in Bainbridge Island, the Lamb and Kid. This stuff is so soft. This is expensive. This is an expensive tiny accessory scarf. But if I'm correct, you can make two. So that's a little bit easier on the wallet, but beautiful. I really, really like this. And then I have my Shibui Mix 33 or something, which is that scarf that I've been working on. And this is using Knit Picks Capretta from my my stash series where I go one Calyx cube at a time and go through what's in that cube from my stash, and then I take something and I cast it on. And this is the first project that I've actually finished. So it's not blocked yet, but I have connected the two or seamed them, and quite a lot of the ends are woven in. And I made a video about how I was weaving in my ends for this project and how I weave my ends for quite a lot of my projects. So I just need to cut my ends and then weave the ones that I didn't do that method with. So need to block and weave in a couple ends, but otherwise this scarf is finished. And I feel like it's such a beautiful color palette. I would do this color palette for like a sweater. I would do this again. It's a beautiful wine color. I think this one's called Wine Merlot Heather. This one is a white, maybe white or swan. And I think this one is turmeric, I believe. And it was quite portable because you could work one and then you could work the other. I did do one mod, and that mod was more of an accident, and it was that I added 2 additional rows between the ripples on the smaller section, which I don't mind because it does make the scarf a bit longer. So I actually appreciate that. If you wanted to make this scarf, something that I would actually recommend and would do differently is, this is not reversible, so there is a right side and a wrong side, and it's pretty wide, but it's curling. So if I were you and you find this pattern in the wild, because I don't know if you can, I would add a couple more repeats and then knit it in the round and then block it flat so that it is double-sided and will not curl. That would be my recommendation. It makes the scarf a bit more thicker, but I think it ends up being a better finished object. So that would be my recommendation. Add 3-4 more repeats and then knit it in the round, which converting is not going to be that difficult. There are charts for everything, and when you knit something in the round, you don't have to reverse what it was that you're doing. Hopefully that makes sense. So that is my Shibui mix number something. Then I have some World Cup cast-ons. So I created a game called Stitch Quest, Gamify Your Knitting, and during the World Cup there is like a little mini game. If you would like more information on how the mini game works, what Stitch Quest is, I have a couple videos on my channel. Just go into the playlists, and one of the playlists will say Stitch Quest. So one of the patterns or projects that I'm working on is my Germany cast on. And this is a Sari Nordlund tank top. Again, the name will be on the screen. I have, and I'm so pleased, I'm getting to the part where this becomes very, very easily and I don't have to have my iPad open to look at the pattern. So I finished, and maybe you'll recognize what pattern this is. So this is the back, this is the strap of the tank top that goes between your shoulder blades. And then here are the straps that come to the front, and I have connected them. So now, oh, it looks like a mess, but basically it's like this. So the little tiniest of triangles that you can see, right? The tiniest of triangles, that is right here. So I am working on this part. So I'm going back and forth, and it is increasing ever so slowly. And then eventually, once I get probably here, I will then probably have to cast on some stitches and then add these to my needle and then start knitting in the round is probably what I'm gonna be doing. This is using Fig and Posy Fiber Co. in their Simply Merino linen, which is 90% linen, 90% merino and 10% linen in the poppy colorway. Like, so awesome. And I bought this to make this tank top. So pretty pleased that we are here making the thing that I bought this yarn for. The tank top itself is a maybe sport, maybe DK. This is absolutely fingering. So I'm hoping it works out. We'll find out. I did not make a swatch for this one, so I just didn't feel like it. This is in my, I want to say this is Sugar Tots. I don't know if they're still around, but they did clay stitch markers and, oh yeah, Sugar Tots. There's the label, ST. And I really love this bag. And it's quite squishy. There's definitely some like batting in here. Very cute. Doesn't quite fit the vibes of the tank top, but it's a good bag nonetheless. I really enjoy this one. Then in my very cute like marshmallow s'mores bag, this is by Mountain State Stitches. I have my Ohio, what? No, not Ohio, USA. I was also about to say OSU. I have a lot of sports on my mind right now. This is my USA cast on. Look how cool this looks. This is in a Lina magazine, the pattern, and it is mittens. Every winter, I think about how I don't have any mittens. And especially now that I walk to work in the winter, I don't have any like good mittens. Everything I have are, I was a really big fan of they were $1 and you got a 2-pack of knitted gloves, like machine knit, probably acrylic yarn, but it was like really thin gloves. And I had a pair in like every pocket of coat. I have not bought a coat in a long time. At one point in my life, I think I had 5 winter coats. So I am working on these gloves, and the pattern is okay. These like wrap stitches are not the most fun thing to do, but it's okay. The change in lighting and probably angle is due to my parents calling, and then I needed to watch the next World Cup game. So I filmed the first part in between 2 World Cup games, and now I'm filming the second part in between the next 2 World Cups. So I was talking about these gloves. The pattern's written fine, like everything's fine about the pattern. It is just not the most intuitive, like easy to memorize. I don't have this memorized. I do need the pattern in front of me. With it being in a book, the book doesn't stay, how do I explain this? Having the book on the couch is a little bit more uncomfortable than if it was on my screen, because I'm having to hold the book open, and then I was having to kind of like go back to the written instructions. And so it was quite a bit slower right at the beginning. I also didn't catch one of the instructions, and so I didn't continue, well, I continued the ribbing too long. The ribbing is supposed to end here when the pattern starts. So you can see here is where the pattern starts, and so the ribbing is relatively short, but then the ribbing is quite a bit longer here. So I'm just gonna repeat that mistake on the second one and everything will be fine. I have the thumb stitches on a safety pin, like a larger safety pin. The thumb is quite cool because you do some patterning on the thumb. So you get one, like a miniature version of this diamond, which I thought was pretty cool. The yarn is very old yarn. This is Trendsetter Yarns Holiday Tweed that I purchased at Great Yarns. I want to say this was in the Carolinas. I feel like maybe I could look it up. This yarn is 50% wool, 39% acrylic, and 11% viscose. And it was $8 when I bought it, so quite affordable. And when I bought this, my plans and intentions were to knit gloves for myself, or mittens. So I have 2 skeins, and I am not gonna use the full skein here. So this is 50 grams, 136 yards, made in Italy. Color 1. Dye lot 556. So if I have leftovers and you have this yarn and you need more, there you go. Because I doubt they sell this anymore. I doubt this is made anymore, probably. So I've got my mitten. I pretty much have one more repeat to go plus the crown of the mittens. And then I have the thumb to do. And then I'll have one mitten done. If the US goes far, I think I'm gonna have these finished. So the last game that they played, it was late at night and I ended up not knitting for probably half an hour of the game. So I would have been further. I probably would have been able to finish the repeat and just had to do the top of the mitten. So I don't know. I would say I could get the body of the mitten done in one more game and then maybe have the thumb. Like, I feel like even though it's not a lot of knitting on the thumb, I feel like the thumb might take a while because you're still doing patterning and it's a little bit fiddly, but I don't know. If I did like the pre-game, post-game, I would be able to finish this mitten. So that would be 4 games, I would have made a mitten. And like I said, in the beginning, this was taking me a lot longer because I was having to read some instructions. So the second mittens will go by much faster. So those are my USA. That was my USA cast on and project. And then I already showed you the Germany one. And then I have a general one. So for all other World Cup games, I have another project and it is in my Diamond Yarns local yarn store day from 2023. So it was a bag gift with purchase and it's their shop window. So this I will finish during the World Cup. This is my single malt sweater. Isn't she beautiful? So I already have a whole sleeve done and I've picked up for this sleeve and I am pretty far on the body. So if I hold this up against my body, my waist is here. So right now it hits just below my waist and I don't want this to be cropped. I kind of I like my sweaters to be a bit longer. So I think maybe why I like them to be longer is my natural waist is pretty high, I feel like, right? So my natural waist is right here and my bra is here. So it's only a couple inches from my bra. And then like where my underwear naturally sits is all the way down here, right? So like low-rise jeans are all the way down here for me, is where I normally wear low-rise. So then, right? So then my high-rise pants, I want to wear all the way up here. And then again, like on the side, that's like 2 inches from my bra. So I have a very high natural waist. So when I make things cropped, they are so cropped. So I have to make them longer, and then they like don't hit in a good spot is really what it's come down to. What I've noticed with my cropped things, I'll put it on and it's like, it just doesn't look right. And if I want a truly cropped thing, it's like a sports bra at that point. Astrid, what are you doing? She's like, I don't even know. All that being said, this is my single malt sweater. I made one of these already before. So this is my very first sweater pattern that I've knit twice, and I'll have knit it, like I'll have finished 2 within 1 year. I just really like the way these look, and I've enjoyed the pattern. It's by Maxim. It is, I guess it's a pattern for men, but honestly, it's, you know, knitting, like you can wear whatever you want. So, yeah, I have maybe, I'm not sure how long I'm gonna go, because I want to be able to stretch it a bit wider so that it is a pretty loose fit. And I like, you know, when you stretch it wider, it gets shorter, and then I don't want it to be a really weird, short, awkward length. So I'm gonna go at least a couple more inches and then do the like 2x1 ribbing, and then I have my sleeve still to go. And today is the last day of group stage games, so I still have several weeks of World Cup knitting to go, and it doesn't look like it's pooling, right? There's like a little bit that kind of looks right here, but I am alternating skeins, and I've alternated 3 different skeins so far. So the top part, I was not alternating skeins. So up here, this is all one skein. Then I start alternating somewhere in this area. This is not gonna look good. Somewhere here, I start alternating, and then at some point I run out, and then I start alternating with a different skein. I think it looks good. Once I get to the ribbing, I'm just gonna do the one skein. So I am using Woolberry Fiber Company Flock in the Berry Rambouillet Worsted, which is 100% non-superwash Rambouillet, 200 yards. I purchased this in Woolberry's last update, and I pretty much immediately cast on. And I'm loving it. I love the colorway. It looks like knit up in the sweater. This to me looks both so fall and winter. It's almost giving some Christmas vibes with the deep red and the slight tinge of green. I'm really liking it. Oh, and the sleeve I alternated as well. There is more pooling on the sleeve, but it's not bad. Really, on camera, this looks more pooly than it does in person. Yeah, it on camera, that corner or the elbow part right here definitely looks like it's pulling, but when I look at it in person, it does not look like that. So this is a success. I'm really loving it. I can't wait for this to be done, and makes me so excited because there are other sweaters on and cardigans on the needle that I haven't shown you, but I'm already prepped and ready. The next one that I'm going to cast on is using this yarn, which is from Big Witch Fiber. Witchfire Fiber. Ooh, that does not look good on camera. So I have 4 skeins and then an additional 4 skeins of that. So this is their classic fingering, and the fluff is their classic Sari. And the colors, where did the other one go? I have another cluster. Okay, so I think this one is Lighted Up, and then this one is I've Been Looking For You, but it could be the opposite. All I need is to find one more instance of, they're too tight. I have them all squished in here together and they're kind of too tight to pull apart. So I have another cluster, but the cats are playing with it, so I don't know where it is. It's probably on the floor somewhere. But regardless, this is going to be the terrazzo or terrazzo sweater, and I am so looking forward to it. This is also yarn that I purchased at Flock 2 flocks ago. So the first flock that I went to, I purchased this, and I purchased it with the intent of making the terrazzo sweater. So I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm 80% sure that's the next sweater I cast on. And that is everything that I've been knitting, for the most part, since the last formal sit down. So let's jump into some regular life updates, I guess. So clearly the World Cup, I love soccer, enjoy the World Cup. Next year is the Women's World Cup, which I enjoy so much more than the men, and I've been enjoying the men as well this year, especially when I added the game to it. And another part being last year I did like Year of Less, where I said no to doing a lot of activities and things, because normally I'm just like everywhere doing everything with everybody, which costs quite a bit of money. So last year I was like, let's try not to spend a bunch of money. And so it's impacted my habits even into, it's June. And so it's definitely impacted. And so I decided again to like kind of not do a lot during the World Cup. So I've kind of canceled plans or said no to plans, and just said I frankly just want to stay at home and watch soccer. And that's free because I'm watching it on Telemundo Peacock instead of getting another subscription service. Now you may argue and say, well, you're already paying for that one. I'm not. I'm on my parents' account from when they were here for Thanksgiving, and Peacock hasn't kicked me off of the account yet from like geospatial. So I'm gonna milk that for as long as it works, and otherwise I don't really watch anything on Peacock anymore since NWSL really isn't. Plus there's the NWSL.com to watch all the soccer games. So, okay. I think since the last sit down, Columbus officially won the bid for the NWSL team in 2028. So freaking excited. I already put my deposit to be a founding member season ticket holder. No idea how much money that's gonna be, but I'm so excited. Now, a part of me is like, am I still gonna live walking distance from the stadium in 28? Because that makes it really easy to go to soccer games because I just walk there. Now, of course, I can walk there from work, which is something that I have done. But I want to show you some of the things. So there's been a lot of fan events surrounding the NWSL. And yesterday was the Challenge Cup, and it was hosted in Columbus. Challenge Cup for the NWSL, soccer again. And they also had an event. So I went to a fan appreciation event for the announcements of the new NWSL team, which was kind of perfect because it got announced the day like I was in the airport flying to Germany, and then the fan event was the day after I came back, which timing wise was perfect. I got this mini scarf that I have up on my bookshelf. I got a bunch of stickers that like I can put on my car. So pretty exciting. And then, like I said, yesterday was the Challenge Cup, and I work at Nationwide Insurance, and we are sponsors. And so I got a Columbus 2028 scarf, like a rally rag, fan rag thing. It's microfiber, so this will be used for cleaning. But still, like, I'll use this. And I got a Portland Thorns sticker because I picked the Portland Thorns. There was also the crew, so I got another little crew flag. And then I got, so there were, I also have a shirt because I scored a goal during the little, like a mini game. You wait in line, and if you score a goal, you get a shirt. I've had superb luck. I'm not gonna say it's all skill because I'm not that good of a soccer player, but I scored a goal, got a shirt, and then I scored another goal, and I got this adorable purse charm, which frankly is my favorite thing that I've gotten. Like, it's so cute. And like, because I work here, all of the symbols like make sense, you know, like I work here. So this like works for me. And then so there was this AI machine, and basically it took your picture and then it said, based on your vibe, what team is your match? And then you would get a scarf. I held up the Portland Thorns sticker right in front. And I was talking to my friends, and they're like, well, which one do you want? I'm like, I mean, I'm happy with all of them except for Seattle Reign. And they're like, well, why not that one? I'm like, cause that's our rival. Like, that's my rival. That's what it gave me. I literally was so annoyed. So annoyed, but it's fine. My friend got Portland Thorns, so she's actually going to trade me because she doesn't really have any loyalties to any of the teams. My team is Portland Thorns. I've flown to Portland specifically to watch a game. So, but yeah, like I got the scarf for free. And yeah, like so cool, awesome. The game was quite fun. I was a little bit disappointed that it was not, like there were not that many people. And like, my tickets were $20. I mean, yeah, they were through my company and I did get like this additional swag, but it was only $20. And then one of my coworkers was like, oh, I would like to go to game with you. So I went back online to go buy another ticket for her, but there weren't any available in our area other than a couple rows behind. But then the day of the game, it was rainy, but like it's partially covered. So you didn't really get wet. Like we didn't get wet at all. In our row, there was maybe 6 other people. And then in front of us, which I couldn't get any of those seats, they were all sold out, which was the very first row in our section. There was, again, maybe like 8 people, and half of them left in the second half. So I was a bit disappointed there because it was not a good showing for Columbus having won a bid and then having, a big game with big stars. Like Rose Lavelle was there and she's from Ohio. So it was a little bit disappointing there. I was a bit disappointed that Columbus didn't show up. I did my part. I invited 2 additional people and told my coworkers about it numerous times. Okay, so that's been what's up, I think. Is there anything else major that has occurred? I went to the Ohio Book Con up in Medina, Ohio. It is how far out from? Maybe an hour, 45 minutes away from Cleveland. So it's up north on the eastern side of Ohio. And I enjoyed it. It was a little bit expensive, I will say, because all other book conventions I've gone to, I have not paid for. So this one was like $25 per talk, and then it was an additional $25 to get into the festival. So to me, that was a bit expensive. But anyway, it was fun. I would do it again depending on the authors that were there. So let's get into my book haul. So I'm just going to show you some books that I got from the library and kind of talk about why. So I have The Way of Idan or Idan. This is a self-pub book. So this is kind of the theme. I was going for like cozy, fast-paced, but low stakes, fantasy, romance, and then I was making an effort to find self-published works or small publishers or publishers that I'm not familiar with. And I've heard quite a bit about this one because one of the YouTubers that I follow, he talks about this book series because he's friends with Philip Chase, but my library, the Columbus Library, has physical copies of these. So I grabbed it. It is a fantasy with, I think the way he explained it is it's classic fantasy. So I will just read like one part, and it says, equal parts epic and lament, The Way of Idan is the lyrical opening to the Idan trilogy. So, and it's soft matte. And then I randomly see this book series and I'm like, why not? I'm not sure if I'm gonna like it. I'll preface this, I'm not sure, but it looks funny. Beware of Chicken. And this says, a laugh out loud slice of life martial arts fantasy about farming. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is also indie published or self-published. And it's, I don't know if it's lit RPG or if it's progression fantasy. I'm not sure, but why not? There are several books in this series, and my library I've seen several in the series. So I thought, why not? I would, try it, pick it up, see what I think. Farming chicken. While I was in Amsterdam, I did go on the Anne Frank tour, and in the new book section of my library, I saw this. It's called When You Listen to This Song on Memory, Loss, and Writing by Lola Lafon, and it's translated by Lauren Elkin. And you can kind of see that it is like a bunch of class photos or still photos or passport photos of Anne Frank. And this book I thought was quite interesting because basically this writer, Lola Lafon, is at the time of this publication, I think, is the only person who has been allowed to spend the night inside of the annex. So the annex is now a museum. It's very hard to get into. You have to book that as soon as those dates open up, like 6 weeks in advance or something, I think is when they open. But she's the only person who's been allowed to spend the night. And I think this book is reflections of while she's there. I don't think she would have written all of this. She probably wrote parts of it and then expounded upon it later, but I just thought that was interesting and it had me curious. So that's this. And it's by Yale University Press. Then I have a book from Europa Editions, which, I hope it's a European publisher because it's called Europa, but I should look into that. So this is The Feeling of Iron, and just from the cover, I think you can tell that this is a World War II, Holocaust, Nazis. So I'll read a bit on the back. They're just, they're blurbs. They're not the write-up. The Feeling of Iron is a book that brilliantly blends the historical novel and the spy story, using the narrative device of splitting the story into 2 different timelines, managing to recount Nazism, the concentration camps, the birth of the State of Israel, Russia in the 1980s, the Sandinistas? Or Sandinistas? There's no R, so I would say the Sardinistas. I'm not sure what that is. Struggle, I'll put the word on the screen, against the dictator Somoza and the CIA-backed Contra squads, and more, with rigor and without any overreach. It sounded interesting to me, and I want to try some books from this publisher. I have a quartet on my shelf. It's a French translation of a fantasy series. I haven't read it, but I'm pretty sure they're also Europa, but maybe this. Then I have The Tempest Blade. I am so excited to get to this. I want to read this so soon. I'm currently in the middle of 3 books, and I'm pretty sure as soon as I finish one of those 3, I'm going to be starting this one. This is the 3rd book to the Bridge Kingdom series, which is kind of 3 duologies, and it ended on a cliffhanger. Also, I need to tell the librarians that this is not science fiction. This is a romantasy. There is romance, but there's a lot of there's no magic in this fantasy world. It's mainly political intrigue. I really, really like this. This is by Danielle L. Jensen. They were originally self-published, but this one is traditionally published. All of them have been traditionally published. Wow, traditionally published, and some of them have special editions now. I have not read the duology that has come out, but I love the Bridge Kingdom series. It's fantastic. I really, really like the special edition for the first one. If they make special editions for all of them, I probably will buy them because I've been giving them 5 stars. They're really good. I really like them. So for some cozy vibes, I picked up Violet Thistleway Is Not a Villain Anymore. I've been seeing this book in a lot of places, and I love the color, the blend from blue to purple. I'll be honest, that's really why I got it from the library, because I see this cover all the time and I love it. This is about Violet, who has been the right-hand man for this evil person. The evil person has died, and now she's like, well, I'm gonna reinvent myself, but like in a cozy way. And so she opens a flower shop, and then there is some terrible blight, and I feel like she has to save the community. And it looks cute. So here we have Impractical Magic. Perfect for fans of Gilmore Girls and Charmed. I'll be honest, this was completely a cover and spine pickup. I love a Victorian looking home. Love it. I don't have huge hopes because I feel like a lot of times when I see comps for stuff, it's never quite like that, and it just is like, I'll be honest, I'm assuming this is gonna be a 3-star, but sometimes I like an easy to read, I'm in it in the moment, and then it's gone from my head the next day, but I enjoy my time while it's there, and to me those are 3 stars. Quintessentially fall, if it makes you happy. I mean, just look at her. I want to recreate this outfit. Like, this looks like the 90s to me. I saw this book in Barnes & Noble last year during the holiday season, and I made a note to get this from the library, get it on my Kindle, and I saw it and I thought, I'll pick it up now. I think it's cute. I think this is just a small town fall romance. I feel like you don't need to know more, really. At least I don't. The Mirror Empire by Cameron Hurley, the World Breaker Saga. This is, who is the publisher for this? Angry Robot. I have not heard of Angry Robot. I don't know if it's an imprint of something. I'll have to look that up. But it feels like a small publisher. The way that the book is bound, it feels like an indie publisher to me. So this, it says, on the eve of a recurring catastrophic event known to extinguish nations and reshape continents, a troubled orphan evades death and slavery to uncover her own bloody past. As the dark star of the cataclysm rises, an illegitimate ruler is tasked with holding together a country fractured by civil war. A precocious young fighter is asked to betray his family, and a half-Jai chemical general must choose between the eradication of her father's people or loyalty to her alien empress. So this sounds to me like a multi-POV epic tactical book is what it sounds like. Huge. Anathema. This is indie published, and this is also a clue that it's indie published is when I see like a QR code and a URL or an ISBN barcode inside of the pages. In my mind, that tells me it's indie printed or independent or small publishing, typically independent. And in here, like, it just says all at Carrie Lake, the author. This book, it kind of starts off like A Court of Thorns and Roses in that our main character knows that she shouldn't go into the forest, but a tragic event turns her, makes her go into the forest. And then there is a lord, probably some sort of fae, and his job is to keep her hidden from this other group that wants to crucify her as part of their prophecy. It looks like a silly, dark romantasy, and sometimes I can eat those up. Other times I'm just like, side-eyeing it the whole time. But it's indie published, and that was my goal while I was at the library. Found another, what looks to be indie published. This is How to Find a Nameless Fae by A.J. Lancaster. And this one is Princess Giselle has spent her life preparing for an evil fae sorcerer to claim her because her mom was tricked into signing away her firstborn in exchange for spinning straw into gold. So I think it's a little bit of a Rumpelstiltskin retelling. There's my little barcode. So it's also like soft matte, which I feel like also I see a lot in self-published books. Then I have Worst Case Scenario by T.J. Newman. I can't believe I haven't read this yet. These are not the best written books, but I devour them. I have a morbid obsession is a little bit too strong, but morbid fascination with plane crashes, and I am always wanting to read about them. There's a TV show that I watch, and it is all about plane crashes. I can't believe I've not read this one yet. I've read the other two. They are equally ridiculous, and I know that I will read this. I would probably read this within 24 hours. If you have recommendations for books that are about plane crashes, please let me know. Drop them in the comments. I also picked up a DVD, Send Help. I wanted to see this in theaters, and then it just got away from me. They crash onto an island. I've never watched Lost. I know that starts with a plane crash, and then for what I can tell, like from the internet, because I don't really know much, but that the ending made people very mad, I think. And then these two, they're not indie published. This one is The Geomagician by Jennifer Manjula. I bought this purely because the vibes look like Agnes Aubert's Mystical Cat Shelter, which I adored. I adored that book. I cannot wait for the second one. So yeah, this one is about our main character, who is a geomagician, which is a paleontologist who uses fossils to use magic. She wants to be a geomagician, but the Geomagical Society of London does not admit women. So she's stuck selling her discoveries to tourists instead. But then an ancient egg hatches in her hands, revealing a baby pterodactyl. So cute. She knows this scientific find could make her career. So cute. And lastly, The Subtle Art of Folding Space. I had this as a book that I potentially wanted to pick up, and this is one of the authors that will be at the Columbus Book Festival. So I thought maybe I'll read this before. Who knows? It's a stretch because that's in only like 3 weeks. But this is The Subtle Art of Folding Space, is the exhilarating debut science fiction novel from Nebula and Hugo Award-winning author John Chu. It channels unhinged physics, generational trauma, and the comfort of really good dim sum. This isn't your usual jaunt through quantum physics. And it's relatively short. It's probably not even 3. Yeah, it's 223 pages. So maybe I can read this. Love me a good book haul, even if it's just from the library. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Let me know what you were knitting on. And again, if you've got plane crash books, let me know. Or if you have some like smaller publishing or indie books that you really liked, let me know. Drop those in the comments as well, because I will take all the recommendations. Can't guarantee I'll read them, but I will take the recommendation. And oh, Herkyad, if you love a reading challenge and you haven't heard of Herkyad is called Hardest Reading Challenge You'll Ever Do. And the third one is primed to start July 7th. So you still have time to sign up. You can also start whenever you want. I'm currently still doing Herkyad 2. I will not be finishing it, but it has been such an enjoyable challenge. I've read quite a lot of books that I normally would not have picked up or prioritized. So it's been great. And that's kind of the whole point of Herkyad, is to broaden your horizons and switch up what you typically read. So very excited for Herkyad 3. That is created and put on by, her name is Stephanie. We have the same name, but her YouTube channel is Cordy, and I will link that down below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in whatever my next video is. Bye.